Soldiers of Shoot.
Alright, what's up? What's up? What's up? Daddy Cool AC, Soldiers of Shoot YouTube channel. First time being back with you solo in a while. First time speaking to you since the marathon AEW review show I did with the one and only Hollywood Bleeding for Truth, Jeff Edwards. And it feels so good to be back. Mainly because I didn't watch WWE this week. Oh. Anyway, moving on from there. I'm actually recording this at in the late hours of Tuesday, June 4th. And I just saw a little tidbit online that Goldberg made his return, or his first showing on SmackDown to promote Superstar Showdown. And I gotta tell you, I mean, it's awfully nice. It's awfully nice that the charity work that the WWE is doing, the great, humanitarian mission they're on to save the Middle East, doing these shows in Saudi Arabia, that Vince wouldn't pony up the cash. Not that any of the real wrestling fans of the world wanted him to, but he wouldn't pony up the cash for Goldberg and the Undertaker for WrestleMania. He did it for Superstar Showdown, and they actually have a commercial that airs during these shows, which I've seen because I watched Raw last week. God only knows why. That says it could be as good or better than WrestleMania. What? These are the people, Triple H included, who sit there and tell you that WrestleMania weekend, SummerSlam weekend, Royal Rumble weekend are their bread and butter. Well, it's what makes their year. And then they tell you that this could be better than WrestleMania. If you watch that show, you're a fucking sellout. 100% fucking sellout. You're not a wrestling mark. You're not a huge wrestling fan if you watch Superstar Showdown. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. It's an absolute farce. It's a disgrace that they're even doing the show there, when they actually main evented WrestleMania with women, and booking wise and pro wrestling wise, whether it made sense or not, they were making statements, and they've made political statements in WrestleMania for a couple years now, or for a long time now, and now they just go for an absolute cash grab. So when they give you Connor's Cure, and they give you we're all about the women, and they give you we're all about diversity, and they tell you all of that, remember one thing. They're about one thing, and it's green. It is green. It comes in little paper form. We all want it. It's called money. And getting to my topic of this particular show, Jon Moxley, who could have probably gotten a very fat check from the WWE, probably a fatter check. We don't know what AEW's paying him, nor do I really care, to be honest with you, what he's making to go to AEW. But I would venture to say that the WWE would probably be paying him more. Probably be paying him more than he may make going to AEW and doing this indie tour and New Japan tour that he's going to be doing. Which leads me into my my segue into my second show of the week, which will be a preview of Dominion. I'm looking forward to that show. On that show, we're going to preview Dominion, and there's a couple of ROH things I want to get into while doing that show. So, but we'll get there later in the week. For this one, we're going to do Moxley. We're going to do these interviews he's done with Jericho and Wade Keller. I found both of them, I want to say fascinating, but for it to be fascinating, it would have to be surprising information I didn't expect to hear. And basically what it was And you may listen to this and be like, hey, Daddy Cool, AC, Soldiers of Shoot, you're patting yourselves on the back. Cool Truth, you're patting yourselves on the back. Well, you know what? The audio's out there. It's been on the internet for a long time. Edwards and I have been talking about this for 5 years now. 5 years. And honestly, I feel a sense of vindication in the sense that everything that Moxley said is what we perceive to be happening from the outside looking in. And he would... honestly, I'll say this. It is worse than I thought. It is worse than I thought. Before... There's so much to get into. I don't want to break down everything he said. I mean, obviously the match with Lesnar, was anticlimactic at best. I actually remember, and this is something he talked about with Wade Keller, the Austin podcast. And Austin was going on and on about, you're missing something, I feel like you haven't put it all together. And this is what we all felt about Dean Ambrose, the character. And listening to this man, and to a man listening to that, is it not believable? There's a lot of people that don't think his WWE run was bad. He feels that way, clearly. I felt that way. I have friends of mine who felt that way. I have other friends who think it was pretty good. I think, given what he had to work with, I think he did a very good job. But given what we expected when the Shield came up to the main roster, Ambrose was supposed to be the guy. And it just seemed like at one point Seth slingshot past him, and then Roman did, and then it was Roman and Seth, and he was like the third guy, and then he was when he was the lunatic fringe, and he spoke about this more so with Jericho. When that happened, he had some creative control there, and then once he got over, they totally castrated him and micromanaged him, which is, par for the course from what we can tell. And this is the character you got. I have to say, again, it's nothing I didn't expect to hear. I expect to hear more of this as more and more people decide not to sign back with the WWE and move on. I often think back, and it's kind of funny, the time frame here, with Dolph Ziggler getting his WWE title shot against Kofi Kingston at the Superstar Showdown in a Rush storyline that actually might have been pretty good if it just seemed like it was, with Ziggler, was a little bit overacted, a little bit too, it should have been me! It should have been me! And while he's doing this, it should have been me! I sense that the guy that Edwards once famously said, okay, Kent State best wrestler. I think it was when he re-signed the previous time to this time. He goes, okay, Kent State best wrestler. Oh, God. I guess you had to be there. But it's obviously it's funny to me because I'm cracking up. In Hollywood is at his computer screen or on his phone or driving, laughing his ass off right now because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Cool Truth fam, you know what I'm talking about. Ziggler gets this title shot at Superstar Showdown, and it just is there another guy that needs AEW like Dolph Ziggler? Oh boy. Anyway, Ambrose or Moxley goes into, he opened the Wade Keller interview, and I actually found it was almost like the Jericho interview was like the pre-show, and then he really got into it, Wade Keller. Obviously, some of the promo stuff. The Jericho interview was done before Double or Nothing. So there was nothing there with how he felt after it, how he felt during it, how he felt cutting the promos after. And then he talked about the couple promos that were out there when he cut the Wade Keller interview, and then the ones we haven't seen yet, which we've now seen. But having said all that, just him saying, like, I texted Cody. This is what Mox said in the interview. If you haven't heard it, and if you didn't hear it, I suggest you listen to it. I'm going to tell you something right now. The commercials, annoying as fuck. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to get you to subscribe and there's a monthly fee. I don't know what it is. But literally, just fast forward 16 minutes in, it's 2 parts. It's like the grand total of 3 hours. It's like Raw. It's like a 3-hour, 3.5-hour podcast, but there's really like an hour and 47 minutes of content. Because you got to fast forward through all the fucking commercials and everything else, which is so annoying. It's like 16 minutes at the beginning of each part. Every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, they're doing a minute commercial. I love, the only thing I love in iTunes, you got that 30-second skip ahead, which I would like bang it once and then listen to the other 25 seconds just because I don't want to miss anything. It was just a lot of commercials. But he opened up talking about how he texted Cody and was like, dude, like, I think we should have a camera waiting for me in the back when I get back there so I could cut a promo. And Cody's response to the text was, okay, cool. And he comes to the back after what he did at Double or Nothing, and he's got a cameraman, and it's like, go. One take, cut his promo. That was the Paragon shift. If I'm mispronouncing the word, I apologize, because I always mispronounce words. Any of you listen to me, that's the way it goes. The Paragon shift, and that was the Paragon shift promo. He got in the back, had a camera, cut the promo, end the story. He said that the Young Bucks had some influence on the Joey Janela promo, where it's like, you're going to cut a promo with Joey, and he had an idea, then the Young Bucks were like, oh, hey, what if he's smoking a cigarette, and you, like, grab it from him, he's like, oh, it's really cool, let's do it. Bang, does it, promo done. We now know the other promo he was talking about was the fists, where the Young Bucks put out the fist, and he's like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Like, I'm not fucking fist bumping with you, which was tremendous. It opened Being the Elite this week. And, for your fans out there that are starving for some AEW stuff, watch the Being the Elite. It's 18 to 23 minutes. It's on YouTube. They release it weekly. It is honestly very well done. They jump around. You kind of see what they've been doing throughout a week or two. They cut some promo spots, but they also give you some real life stuff. They give you some backstage stuff. They give you some produced stuff. They give you maybe Hangman Page and Cody are Northeast Wrestling, and they give you that. Or the Young Bucks are in Chicago, and they give you that. It's very well done, and it kind of keeps your interest in AEW right now. And for Mox to be a part of that is pretty big stuff here. I don't want to get into NXT TakeOver because I haven't watched it. I had a bunch of friends that were there, considering it was literally 30 minutes from my house in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I could have went if I wanted to. It was kind of twofold. I'm down on NXT. I don't care. I really don't care. And I love Adam Cole. I like Matt Riddle. I love Roddy Strong. So many guys there. Biff Busick, Oni Lorcan. So many guys. I'm a big fan of Velveteen Dream. I'm just down on NXT. I can't do it. I can't. Listen, can I watch a takeover and enjoy it? I probably can. If I watch this takeover where I probably enjoy it, I probably will. Will that get me back to watching the weekly NXT show? Will I invest in anything these characters are doing? No, because it's bullshit. And it's never going to lead to anything. Ever, ever, ever. Never. Stop trying to fool yourselves into this idea that these guys are going to come up to the main roster and one of these guys is going to change Vince's mind and change the way things are done. Do you really think that Vince McMahon looks at Adam Cole and goes, "Ah, that's money, pal. Let's get him over, pal"? I mean, they put Johnny Gargano in the goddamn Royal Rumble. He looked like a fucking midget. You haven't seen him since. They're booking Ricochet 50-50. They got these promos with Aleister Black. He's basically not seen on TV. The Viking Raiders, Viking Experience, War Raiders, War Machine, whatever the fuck they're calling them, they're never on TV anymore. Look what they're doing with EC3. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Who cares? And here's the other part of it. It's fucking ROH 3 years ago. You think this ROH was doing this 3 years ago, and none of you watched it. Because you said, oh, their weekly TV sucks. Well, guess what? The weekly NXT TV sucks. And you're basing it on 4 or 5 shows a year. That's what ROH was doing. And you all shit on it. But now that it's NXT, it's like, oh my God, Adam Cole versus Gargano. It was the best match I've ever seen. Takeovers are the best shows I've ever seen. I'm not telling you they're bad. I'm not telling you takeovers are bad. I probably enjoyed every takeover I watched. I think they're overrated. I think they're overrated because there's a bunch of WWE fans out there that are actually pro wrestling fans that actually get some pro wrestling with NXT and they go goo goo gaga over it, but they will give nothing else a chance. Nothing else a chance. The overreaction to the Double or Nothing buy-in Battle Royale on the pre-show, on the fucking pre-show, is ridiculous. Oh, the guy with no legs. Oh, they had a dinosaur. Oh, they had a transvestite. Blah, blah, blah. How could it be for a title match? There's been more time spent on a Battle Royale that opened the pre-show, okay, than anything that happened on Double or Nothing that night. Other than Moxley. Because it's him. Without him and Jericho, this is why they're important cogs in this machine. And there's probably more coming. But a lot of you would rather watch the fucking Usos battle the Revival in cornhole. In a picnic under a tent in the parking lot on Raw last week. Which is the bullshit that I fucking watched. I want to know how many times you fucking dumbasses are going to turn on WWE going, Brock's cashing in tonight. They said he's cashing in. I want to see it. I didn't even watch it, but I know what happened because my friends texted me. Seth Rollins got taken out of the show on a stretcher, and Brock didn't cash in. But all you dumbasses out there still think Vince McMahon's some kind of genius that knows how to book pro wrestling. And he's lost. It's like Mox said on the Wade Keller podcast. Okay, 80s, 90s, I'll give it to you. Right now, he doesn't know what is going on. That's a quote. Not direct. I'm paraphrasing. But that's what he said. He was there. He was in the room. He didn't even look at the check they wrote for him. Because he did not care. You know what he said? Ha ha, I saved my money. How smart am I? Who looks dumb now? Talks about his relationship with Cody. Talks about why would work Jericho at WrestleMania because he knows Jericho would try to steal the show with him. Are you surprised about anything he said about Brock? I'm not. Brock is collecting a fucking paycheck. We all know that. And I'm not even surprised what he said about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns never wanted to say suckering succotash. And any of you dumbasses out there, and you're dumbasses, if you think that was actually him, you're a dumbass. He tried to get, obviously, top guy, he's going to toe the line. That's who he is. He went out there, did all the media, the cancer, the whole thing. Blah, blah, blah. He's starting to get booed again because he's not booked properly by a 70-year-old man who is disconnected from pro wrestling. And if you want to sell me on Triple H, you can try. I'm not buying it. Until I see it, I'm not buying it. I'm not giving you NXT. Because like Hollywood said this how many times? It's his playground. He has all his friends down there. It's his little playground. Do I know that when Triple H, if and when he was to take over WWE, is going to book pro wrestling like he does in NXT with an hour taped TV show on the WWE network? Which, kinda, I love you. But you called it a TV show. It's not a TV show. It's on the WWE network. It's a taped show on the WWE network, a weekly show. It's no different than what Ring of Honor does. Except Ring of Honor actually puts it on syndicated TV around the country. It's no different. I could go on the Fight TV app and watch Ring of Honor weekly the same way. The only problem is all the names that Ring of Honor had are all in NXT or they're in AEW now. So there's very few of them left, so nobody wants to give them any credit or watch it, which is fine. But don't act like it's anything different. And don't act like the ROH pay-per-views are bad, because they're not. Most times they're good. And before the Bucks, Cody, and Hangman left, they were very good. And they were really fucking good when Adam Cole, Roddy Strong, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly were all there. Kevin Steen. So Moxley paints this picture for you. The picture that people like myself and Hollywood and DJ Stames and other people we know have been painting for you for years and years and years now. But you didn't want to believe because Vince McMahon's a genius. And because the WWE is the end-all be-all. Well, it's not the end-all be-all anymore. Because you have a 2-hour TV show coming in October. And I have friends of mine texting me, NXT, then AEW, then WWE. Well, how do you define what AEW is based on one show? And every time I hear a critique of AEW, they go to the pre-show Battle Royal. To me, that's not even the biggest critique. The biggest critique was the 6-woman Japanese match that Edwards and I talked about. But nobody wants to talk about that. You want to know why? Because I think the majority of the people out there hating on this didn't even watch the pay-per-view. Or they cherry-picked what they were watching. So here's my opinion. If you didn't put your fucking $50 down, or at least make an effort to pirate the feed, you don't have an opinion on it because you did not watch it. If you're taking a bunch of out-of-context YouTube videos and trying to present what the show was to you, that's not what you're doing here. And their numbers were very good across the board. Pay-per-view buys, views on YouTube, Twitter trends. For their first show? And here's what's going to happen. I'll tell you this right now. This fighter show at the nerd convention or whatever the hell they're having it at. I'm going to tell you something right now. That show will probably be very good. It probably won't be as good as Double or Nothing or even All In. And I don't consider All In AEW. It's very different. Some of the players were there, yes, but to me it's still very different. Double or Nothing, fighter show, All Out. Your next big date for AEW is All Out. You're going to get this show in between, and I already know what's going to happen. Oh, that wasn't as good as Double or Nothing. See, they're already falling off. You can't let the Roosters run the hen house and all this other crap. Listen. Everyone, this is what we all need to do as pro wrestling fans. Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of us are just starving for really good pro wrestling. Judge AEW in February. Judge them in a year from now. Don't judge them on the next show. Don't even judge them on All Out. Don't even judge them on Double or Nothing. Let them do their TV show for 6 months and see what they're giving to you. Don't judge them after Double or Nothing next year. See what they give you. See what they come up with. See what they do. And I'll tell you this, with the wrestling minds they have there, NXT is going to look like fucking child's play. Oh my God, TakeOver. Oh, Matt Riddle. Listen, I've known Matt Riddle since Ultimate Fighter, okay? I want Matt Riddle to be good. I like Matt Riddle. I actually like what he's doing. But here's the problem. To what end? To what stinking end? Firefly Funhouse. It's the greatest thing ever. Oh, to what end? To what end? So Bray Wyatt has some creative control to cut a bunch of videos and they post them every week. What happens when he actually gets in a wrestling ring? What actually happens when he becomes a wrestler again? What happens when this Firefly Funhouse becomes stale, which it already is, to the people that don't want to put blinders on and just go, oh, at least they're doing Firefly Funhouse. When Vince McMahon sticks his nose in that, it is going to suck. It is going to be goofy and stupid and G-rated, as Cody called WWE. He's 100% right. It's fucking G-rated. I had people killing Drew McIntyre sucks, cuts the same promo every week. It's not Drew McIntyre. Are you listening to what guys like Moxley are saying? These are writers and producers producing all this stuff. These are not the wrestlers. This is not coming from the heart. This is not coming from their creative abilities. Let me ask you a question. How can Michael Bennett, the miracle Michael Bennett, grab a microphone in TNA and Impact and cut these amazing promos? Do you fucking think he forgot when he got the... He didn't forget, he can't do it! Drew McIntyre, same thing! Bobby Lashley! They're micromanaged, overproduced, with a bunch of people who don't understand pro wrestling or what the pro wrestling fans want. And what do? They go back to their bread and butter. Lesnar, Cena, Goldberg, Undertaker, and now Roman Reigns. And everybody's getting all over Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns can't be who he really wants to be. But when you're the top guy, you're going to toe the company line. Do you think if they produced Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock that way, do you ever think they would have got over the way they did? Not only that, fucking Goldberg's entrance. I actually watched it on YouTube. Goldberg's entrance. Oh, what a great entrance. Good job, Vinnie Mac. I mean, he wasn't doing that in 1996 on WCW or anything. Go ahead, Goldberg. I know, listen, the difference is now you had a goatee then and now you have a gray beard. If you're a pro wrestling fan, do you really want to see Goldberg wrestle the fucking Undertaker when they're both 50? When they're both fucking 50? What's the over-under on that match being more than 3 minutes? It's not even worth the fucking plane fight. But you know what? The Prince is filling those pockets, baby. Women can't go there, though. Owens doesn't want to do the show. Sami Zayn doesn't want to do the show. Daniel Bryan doesn't want to do the show. I'm getting the idea that maybe AJ didn't want to do the show. We know in the past John Cena hasn't wanted to do it. Why is that? But you know, the old Finzi there, he'll throw on that demon paint. Little bonus check. The Demon Balor. That's what the little princesses and princesses wanted. Sitting there on their fucking couches in the front row. That's what the WWE gives you. But Double or Nothing, they give you a pro wrestling show. Ring of Honor, they give you a pro wrestling show. And New Japan, they're going to give you a pro wrestling show with Dominion. Impact Wrestling's giving you a pro wrestling show. Nah, forget that. We know the WWE sucks, but, we got to watch it because it might get better. Because they're going to be on Fox. And they got to get 3 million viewers. So Vince McMahon's going to be forced to change. He's demented. Even if Ambrose is embellishing, he's demented. And not only that, he's trying to do pro football. Again, he's failed at it already. He just watched another organization which had more backing than he has fail. And he's trying to do pro football again while booking pro wrestling daily, apparently. So while they're out doing house shows 6 days a week or whatever the hell it is, he's in Stanford with producers having meetings. So if what Moxley was saying is true, they sit there in Stanford all week and try to come up with good pro wrestling shows. Good sports entertainment, because it's not even that. They take a week. Meetings, producers, writers, Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, they all get together, they go through all this stuff, and they produce the same fucking show every week. And like Edwards said when he was on with Bobby a few weeks ago, you just change the names up, it's the same show every week. That's what they come up with, weekly, every week. They come up with nothing creative. No stories, no levels. How many times did Moxley say on that Wade Keller podcast, story, beginning, middle, end. That's what I want. Beginning, middle, end. How many times have you heard Hollywood Edwards on Soldiers of Shoe, on 1640 PWPR, on Cool Truth Network, on fucking Pillar to Post, on Cool Truth, on Blading for Truth, on every fucking show he's been on. Story, beginning, middle, end. He's been saying it for 5 fucking years, and you hear Moxley saying it on a pay-per-view. They're not doing any of it. They haven't been doing any of it. Been screaming about it forever. And then when you present all that to these fanboys out there, they go, NXT. And then when you pick apart the weekly show, TV show, not because it's on their fucking network, which only their subscribers can watch. I mean, yeah, I know. Everybody's signing up for Hulu to watch NXT. I know. Okay. We're NXT for 5 fucking shows a year. How is that different from Ring of Honor? How is that different from New Japan? You can parachute in and just watch the big shows and be happy with it. It's the same thing. And it's the same guys. Oh, look how they recycled the talent. Nakamura, Balor, Owens, Zayn, Cole, Gargano, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing New Japan and ROH has been doing forever. And they brought TNA guys that did it too, and Impact guys that did it too. It's the same thing. NXT isn't breaking any ground. They just have the machine behind them. They can book arenas that ROH can't book by themselves. ROH couldn't book Madison Square Garden without New Japan. Part of that's their fault. That's a whole nother show. But they're not doing anything different. They're not doing anything special or better. It's not special. It's not. You know why? Because 6 months from now, Undisputed Era could be in WWE and be you know what? They could be having Thanksgiving dinner in the back. They could be eating turkey legs with the Usos in a revival in November. You got Sasha Banks on Twitter using her real name. I found myself. Leo Rush. I'm friends with him on Facebook. For 5 years now, I've been friends with him on Facebook. Since he started wrestling. He's Leo Rush. Now he has his real name. They want out. wants out. Revival wants out. We go on and on. There's probably so many more. They want to get the hell out of there. And it's not just AEW. They have many options now. They can go on the indies and make money. They could do what Cody did and just bounce around for 2 years. Make a name for themselves on that network, and maybe AEW will want them then. Well, AEW probably don't want half these people now. Moxley's there laying it out for you. Oh, well, yeah. Listen, in October, just wait. Yeah, I'm waiting for October for AEW. For the boys, by the boys, for the fans. With billions of dollars behind them. And if you think Tony Khan's some dumb rich kid, you don't know who he is. Or he's a money mark. He's not. I know Edwards did a show with Pillar to Post, Joe White there on SOS. I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm not going to comment on anything said. I will listen to it. I'll probably listen to it before I get to the Dominion preview, which will be done here in the next day or two. Well, I wanted to get this stuff out there, this Moxley stuff, because I found it interesting. Again, I can't find it fascinating because he just reinforced everything I've known in my heart for a long time. And before we get out of here, I want to bring something else up. I have not been blocked by many people on social media. And I have not been blocked by many people on Twitter. For the longest time, the only person I know of blocking me was that pussy-ass CM Punk, Phil Brooks. He went into some rant about Sujin G. Coleman, and I was in a discussion with an indie friend of mine, and Punk was tagged in it, and he blocked me because he's a sensitive bitch, and he blocked me. Cool. No problem. Good. Fuck you. I don't even like you anyway. Yeah, listen, if Punk goes to AEW, I'm all for it. That's viewers. He's going to add something. I understand that. I just don't like him as a person. I think he's an asshole. I never even met him, and I think he's an asshole. And if I met him, I think he's an asshole. But anyway, I was at some point recently, and I never even followed him, blocked by Jim Cornette on Twitter. And the only reason why I know about this is because in the last week or so, since he did his show, where he went on his homophobic rant, and some people have defended it to me, and honestly, I haven't listened to it, and I have no intention to, because I could give two fucking shits what Jim Cornette says about anything. I really don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I've been friends with Sonny Kiss on social media for a long time. I've known the gimmick for a long time. This idea that AEW has to explain a gimmick on a pre-show battle royal is fucking ridiculous to begin with. But whatever. He doesn't like it. Okay, whatever. I know. He's basically a communist. But now he has a problem with the transvestite, whatever. However you want to classify Sonny Kiss. Who cares? I'm friends with that wrestler for a long time on social media. Liked many of my posts. I've never once met that person. Have very minimal interaction, but through all these people I've been friends with in wrestling for a long time, we've connected on social media, like posts, whatever. Cool, no problem. I have no issue. I really don't. I don't care. I don't care what the gimmick is. I care what the story is when we get there, and what AEW can do with this wrestler. And I knew when they signed Sonny Kiss this was going to happen, because it happened with people like White already. It was one of the first ones. No shock there. And now Cornette. And listen, I've had people say it was bad. I've had people say it's not as bad as they said. Again, I don't care. He said what he said. A lot of people had a problem with it. And they went after him on social media. And the only thing I did was retweet stuff. And I retweeted stuff that I tend to agree with. So Joey Ryan had a response to Cornette on Twitter. And I was reading his response, and I'm like, oh, he's responding to Cornette. And it said that I couldn't read the tweet. So I was like, well, maybe Cornette said something stupid and he took it down or whatever. So I click on the tweet. It says, you're blocked from seeing this. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's I'm like, wait a minute. Did Jim Cornette block me? So I searched Jim Cornette. Nothing comes up. And then it comes up like it doesn't, like his actual Twitter page doesn't come up. But then I get the highlight type stuff, the most seen stuff, the top seen shit. And I could see his tag there. So I click on it. And it says, you are blocked by Jim Cornette. And obviously, Jim Cornette blocked me. I don't give a fuck. You want to piss on Russo's grave? I'll piss on yours. I don't care. You're a fucking piece of shit anyway. But this goes back to what I've been saying for a long time. And I stand by this. And I have a lot of friends in the wrestling business. And I maintain those friendships. And I don't think the people that I associate with are like this, but even if they are, I hope they wouldn't take offense to what I'm saying, but if they did, we could have a conversation about it. But there's a lot of sensitive people in the wrestling business. There's a lot of sensitive people watching it. There's a lot of sensitive people involved in it. There's a lot of sensitive people doing it, and they take everything out of it's crazy. It's crazy. The things they take, so many social justice warriors and all. I can't even take it anymore. Just be a fucking pro wrestler. And to my recollection, and if somebody wants to go through my Twitter page and find where I insulted Jim Cornette, please do, because I can't even remember it. There's only two scenarios I could come up with. White tagging Cornette in our conversations. Which maybe I said something insulted in one of those that I don't remember, possibly. Or is it because I shared the tweets that I agree with? If you're Jim Cornette, if you're CM Punk, if you're any other sensitive bitches out there, grab your balls. Grab your balls. I see some of the shit that people tweet towards celebrities on Twitter, which I find embarrassing. If I tweeted that to people, I would find it embarrassing. I would never consider myself a troll. And I never try to troll. I might tweet the WWE, I might tweet Triple H, might have some fun with some things. I don't consider it trolling. I consider it me just stating my opinion. There's stuff out there that's legit, like, embarrassing that people tweet. And if somebody wants to block them for that, I can't really get on them for it. I don't even think they should. I just think you need to have tougher fucking skin. But I'm not in that position, so I don't get it. But for whatever reason, Jim Cornette blocked me. So this is what I have to say. And if anybody out there feels the need to tweet him that I said this, Jim, fuck you. Soldier to shoot. Daddy Cool AC. We out, baby.
Soldiers of Shoot.